Okay, welcome to the resistance band workout video, exercise video. So obviously for this you'll need a resistance band. I just want to show off the fact that this one is the Super Strong. Can't find where it's written now. Super Strong one on the, there we go. Super Strong. So if I'm putting faces during this video, that's why. It's one of those, got a mat or somewhere kind of comfy to lie on to execute the exercises, and something sturdy, in this case good old tree, just to be able to wrap the band around to execute the upper body exercises when we get to those. Of course, foam rolling, got to mention foam rolling. Hopefully you've done some foam rolling before we start. If not, press pause and go and grab your foam roller if you've got time. We are going to start with a few mobility exercises, get the blood flowing, help you move better. Then we'll get into good core exercise, and then we'll get going with the resistance band exercises. Okay, so first up, let's get straight into the mobility and get going with that. So we're going to squat first. So 3 parts: squat, into side lunge, into hip flexor stretch, and then we're going to repeat that the other side. So a squat, into side lunge, into hip flexor stretch. So on the squat, just going as deep as your mobility will allow, coming up, going into side lunge, weighting through the heel of the side you're stepping towards, and then side on to hip flexor. So squat, side lunge, hip flexor. On the squat, also keep the upper body nice and tall, pushing the hips back. On the side lunge, aiming to straighten as best you can that leg that follows, keeping everything aligned. Into hip flexor. So squat, side lunge, into hip flexor. So we're going to aim to allow this to flow. Into hip flexor. So squatting, side lunging, hip flexor. So a nice 1, 2, 3. Feeling the stretch through hip flexor through the front hip. Side lunge, weighting that heel. Going into hip flexor. 1 more each side. So squat, hips back, side lunge, into hip flexor, back to squat, back to side lunge, and hip flexor on the other side. Okay. Use the mat if you need to for this one. I'm going to use the mat for my hands. 2 options with this. Slightly harder option, if you've got the upper body strength, to be in this full plank position to begin. A step forwards, and then reaching up and round. Now if that's too much upper body, what I'm going to recommend you do is rest keeping your knee, or one knee, on the ground. So 1 knee on the ground, and then reach up and round, and switch that over. If you're okay with upper body strength, this is the option. My knee is just off the ground, stomach nice and tight. I'm using my stomach muscles to rotate rather than just twisting up and round. And I'm purposely keeping my thumb up to open up through the front shoulder, up and round. But my hips, shoulders at the start face straight ahead. Tightening through stomach, just pointing the belly button in the direction you want your torso to go. Okay. Good stuff. Right then, let's get into the core exercise. Make sure you can see me. So for the core, going with the upper body assisted bridge. Really like favouring exercises that hit the entire back chain of the body from kind of top to bottom, because they're the muscles that we don't tend to use in everyday life. So this, I'm going to have my knees bent, I'm going to have my arms out, I'm going to drive the backs of my arms into the ground, head, shoulders resting. From there, squeezing the hips up, driving the arms down. Before the hips come back down and nice and slow and controlled, driving them back. Yeah, before the hips touch. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. So I'm using my upper body to lift my hips up, or to assist them to lift up. I'm also squeezing through the backside, lifting the hips up. Okay, keep going on that one. Really tightening through stomach. Just before the hips rest, squeezing up, controlling on the way down. Driving the upper body, backs of the arms into the ground to assist. Keeping the knees in line. Squeezing up. Let's have another few more of these. Squeezing up, controlling the way down, still driving my arms into the ground on the way down. Squeezing up, 3 more to go. Big squeeze up. 2 more. Big squeeze up with the hips, squeezing through the back of the hips. 1 more. High as you can, big pause, squeezing shoulder blades together, shoulders away from ears. Okay, good stuff. Right. Put that to one side. Good. Let's get into the first exercise. So, you'll need your resistance band. Wide squats, so entire lower body, mostly focusing on front of lower body, going wide, allow those feet to point out. So the wider really you go, the more resistance you're going to get. If you need to, bring the feet closer if there's too much resistance, and vice versa. You can also, if you need to, like I said, this has got quite a lot of resistance, this band. If you need to, you can also reach further down beyond the handles and pull from there if you wish. Okay, let's get into this one. So upper body nice and tall, upper body towards the sky in my case, or the ceiling if you're indoors. Pushing the hips back, going nice and low, driving up. So what I'm going to avoid doing with this is using my arms. So I want to make it purely lower body. So I'm driving up, almost kind of pushing the front of the feet down into the ground. I'm allowing my feet to turn out. I'm allowing my knees to turn out as well. And just keeping chest high, as deep as you can. Now there's not going to be any resistance at the bottom, so what I'm going to try and do is drive straight back up to the top quite quick. Driving up to the top, but no need to spend too much time at the top. Driving up, so control down, drive straight back up. Nice and low, drive straight back up. Here we go, so lower body working. Drive straight back up. I'm going to go a little bit wider, make sure it's working. Like I said, you can point the knees out as well, almost in alignment with the feet. Driving straight up. So pushing more from the front of the feet, making it more of a front lower body exercise, although total lower body will be all the muscles of lower body involved, and the arms and the shoulders having to assist a little. And we're driving from the feet. 4 more to go. Hips out and back, driving up, upper body tall. 3 more. Final 2. Nice and deep, hips back. Driving up. Good. Okay. So that was the squat. If you've been using the personalised section of the routine, pull 1, on to pull 2. So it's pull 2. I'm putting this at face height for the face pulls. So we're going through the upper back with this one. Also going to have my thumbs sticking up. Going to make sure there's a bit of resistance as I start. Shoulders are unshrugged and low. Knee soft, stomach tight, backside tight to support me. I don't want to be arching. And what I'm trying to do here is, the best way I heard this explained was to imagine, as you do, you've got Mickey Mouse ears on. And what you're trying to do is touch your thumbs to the Mickey Mouse ears. So from here, pulling it face height, and then aiming to, well, I'm going to have to step forward to this one, aiming to bring the thumbs up towards the ears. So the resistance bands, most of the tension is at this point here. So a lot of it is pulling quite fast towards you, pausing, and then slowly back to the beginning. And as soon as that resistance is gone, repeating. So it's kind of a 1 second to pull in this case, 3 seconds to lower, and a big pause where there's most resistance. Keeping those shoulders unshrugged, keeping the wrists or the hands at face height, and then putting the thumbs to Mickey Mouse ears. So, good, keep going with that one. Goes against posture, so it's quite a challenging exercise, but a very healthy one for the shoulders and the upper back and the neck. 3 more to go. Squeezing back, 2 more to go. 1 more to go. Big pause. Okay. Right then, the third exercise. We're going to do away with the resistance band for a second. And we're going to do an alternating lunge. Alternating lunge, slightly different. And I'll show you. It's only body weight, but body weight is all you're going to need. So with this one, all I'm changing with this is I'm aiming to stay quite low. So this, I'm going to speed up as I go. I'm just showing you technique. You can lean forwards a little bit as long as your hips are back, chest is up. So, what I'm going to do, what we're going to do to make this tiny bit more effective, is we're going to stay low. So, the idea is to quickly change. The weight's on the front leg, but what I'm trying not to do is come up all the way. So I won't need many of these for it to be effective. So if you're finding that this is too much, too heavy on the legs, then come up a little bit higher. But what we're aiming to do is stay quite low. We're never fully coming up. It means the poor legs have got they're not getting a point where the tension decreases at the top. The tension stays fairly high. And the trade-off means we don't have to do so many. So stomach tight, back nice and flat, chest up. I think we're almost there. Keep going with this one. Last 2 each side. Front thigh muscles should be working. 1 more each side. Oof, and back. Okay. Wow, who else has got heavy legs? Those legs a bit of a shake. Of course, they'll get a little bit of rest as we go on to upper body. Okay, so back to sturdy object. So if you're indoors, wrapping it around something sturdy. I used to use a door handle or anything that you're quite happy won't move. Wow, so again this is quite a tough resistance band. So this I can stand back. Make sure you can feel resistance at the beginning. I've got loads. Upper body nice and tall, stomach tight. Upper chest towards the sky or ceiling. And then we're pressing forwards. We're almost pushing our upper body away, the opposite way. So like I said with these bands, slightly different technique. Going to push fast, pause, slowly back. Push fast, pause, slowly back. Stomach tight, backside tight, upper body tall. Top of the head as high as possible. Bring the elbows out, driving forwards. So bring those elbows back as far as you can, driving forwards. Here we go, nice and steady on the way back. Driving forwards, keeping stomach tight. Upper body stays nice and still apart from the arms. Big push forwards. Almost there. Almost there. Keep driving forwards. 3 more to go. Big push forwards. Shoulders definitely unshrugged for this one. 2 more. Stomach tight. Same position. 1 more. There it goes. Big hold. And back. Okay. That's a pull. 4 exercise that one. So front, upper body. Front, upper body. So for pull 5 for the 5th exercise. Returning back to lower body, specifically back of lower body. Okay, for this one, similar setup to that squat at the pull 1 exercise. So going wide again, feet turned out, knees turned out. So something called a sumo deadlift. The hips are back, chest is high. So again, the wider you go, the harder, and the lower down you hold, the harder as well. So from here, what I'm aiming to do is keep chest up. I'm squeezing through backside, and my aim is to straighten through the legs and to push my hips forwards. So steady on the way down, and squeeze through backside. Big pause at the top. When there's no resistance, we're going to come straight up. So it's steady on the down, and then drive up tall and pause. So really squeeze the hips forwards, squeeze through back of the hips. Slow down, push the hips out, squeeze up straight. Okay, and again, shoulders unshrugged. I'm using my lower body. I'm trying to use back of the hips as much as I can. So squeezing through back of the hips, especially at the top. Driving up. Good. Right through back of the hips. Chest high. Here we go. Hips out and back. Driving up. Good, good. Not far to go. Really drive the hips back. Might be feeling it in back of the upper thigh and the hamstrings too. They're assisting the backside muscles, but really be mindful of squeezing through the backside muscles. Really strong, important muscle. Squeeze through backside. Might be a bit of mobility going on as well. Might feel some stretching. 3 more to go. So push the hips back. Knees fairly stiff. Not aiming to bend the knees too much. Last one. Squeeze up and back and hold it tall. Okay. Back down. Alright then. Catch your breath. That's 1 lap. Here we go. Yep, so allow that heart rate to come down just a little bit. Muscles to replenish and recover just a little and refuel. Okay. Here we go. Deep breath. I think we'll go into lap number 2. So, as we started before, the pull 1 exercise. Front of lower body. Taking the feet as wide as you can. Pointing the feet out. And like I said, as you go down, the knees can too. So on this, we are aiming to keep the weight more front foot. And we are aiming to bend the knees and go nice and deep. Okay. Like I said, you can hold on lower down to make it harder, and obviously the reverse of that to make it slightly easier if you need to. Oh, make sure my foot's firmly on top of that one. And of course, there's something I've forgotten. Make sure you're in the middle. Otherwise you'll have the uneven resistance. There we go. Okay, I'm going feet out. I'm going knees in line. Let's go. So hips out and back. Knees pointing out. Into the squat. So steady down, driving up. Really aim to squeeze through the front thigh muscles. Squeezing through the front thigh muscles. Dropping the hips back, keeping the chest up. Here we go. Driving up. Shoulders nice and low. So I'm aiming not to pull with my arms. I'm just gripping onto the band. Driving up. If you want to get the breathing, I'm breathing in on the way down. Breathing out on the way up as I drive up. Big push upwards. Hips out and back, chest lifted. Driving up. Squeezing through front thigh. So a little bit of weight through the front foot. Squeezing through front thigh. Okay, so big bend at the knees. Going nice and deep, sticking the hips back. There you go, good, good. All our body driving up. Big push upwards. Big bend at the knees, driving up. Good, so nice wide squat. Front thigh muscles working. Driving up, squeezing through front thigh. 3 more to go. Driving up, final 2. Big push upwards. And 1 more. Okay, good job. Right then, catch your breath. So from there, we're going back to our pull 2. Back of upper body. So, hold the band. center, about face height. Knees soft, toes in line, stomach tight, backside tight, shoulders unshrugged, thumbs up. Remember from there, putting it face height and trying to touch my Mickey Mouse ears. So imagine you're wearing Mickey Mouse ears, trying to touch your thumbs to the Mickey Mouse ears. Come on a little bit so you can see me. Squeeze. This is easy to underestimate how challenging this one is. Squeezing us back, so right through the back of the shoulders and the upper back. So before that, just before that tension's lost from the band, squeeze back and pause. Have the chest nice and high. There you go. A few more reps of these. I'm just trying to avoid leaning back as much as I can, keeping stomach tight, backside tight. Big pause, steady forwards. Squeezing back and pausing. 3 more to go. Squeezing back, thumbs high. 2 more. Touch the Mickey Mouse ears, 1 more. Big pause. Okay. We can put the band to the side for 1 second. Okay. Here we go. So remember those alternating lunges, aiming to stay a little bit low, just to make them nice and effective. So we'll get into the position. There's our position. So I'm going to drive up but not all the way up and have a quick change and place the weight back on my front thigh. Okay, I'll move back a little bit so you can see me. Chest is high, hips are back. So if you want to make it easier, come up a little bit higher in between. Want to make it harder, stay low. So it's a quick change, nice and steady down, driving up. So again, front thigh muscles working. So quick change, driving up. Purposely staying low, purposely trying not to completely straighten at the top, keeping the load on. I'm going to bring my hands in front of my body now. Shoulders low, stomach tight. Just a couple more of these. A little reach back with the back leg. 2 more each side. Legs start to burn a little. 1 more each side. Okay, come up. Shake out the legs. Get rid of some of that heaviness. So a little pull 3 exercise. From there we go to pull 4. Front, upper body. Wrap the resistance band around the sturdy object. Okay, stomach tight, backside tight, body nice and tall. So the further you are towards the object, the least resistance. If you want to make it harder, walk out further. Being twanged back towards the tree. So, here we go, body tall, top of the head as close to ceiling or sky as you can. Pushing forwards. So remember, it's about a second to push, to pause, and then really put the brakes on coming back. So shoulders unshrugged, the whole of the set. Driving forwards, steady back. Controlled on the way back. Driving forward, shoulders low, keeping it chest height. Driving forward, stomach tight, backside tight. Here we go. So I'm keeping the body as straight, as still as I can, as stable as I can. Trying to push myself back as I push forwards. Here we go. Just a few more of these. So front upper body, upper chest, front shoulders, back of the arms, all involved, and obviously the stability muscles of the core to hold us in place. 3 more to go. Driving forwards, final 2. Big push forwards, 1 more. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, last exercise of the second lap. you're doing 2 laps, as I am, the last exercise. If you're doing 3, you can always rewind back to start of beginning of lap 2 and go again. So similar to the squat, I'm going wide, feet turned out, keeping the hands quite far forwards. With this I'm trying to keep the hands just in front of the legs, less bend at the knee. So the sumo deadlift, so I'm reaching forwards a little bit from the upper body, reaching forwards, front of lower body, and then using the backside muscles to straighten you up. So minimal bend at the knee, pushing the hips out, back as far as you can, nice and deep. If you need to make it harder, go wider, hold lower, and obviously if you need to make it easier, do the opposite of that. Squeezing up through backside, I'm really squeezing through backside at the top, so I'm using my backside muscles to straighten me up each time. I'm pressing my heels into the floor, so it's more back chain, back and lower body. Backside muscles, the hamstrings will be helping. Really squeezing up and straightening. Out and back, squeezing up and straightening. Chest high, knees fairly stiff, I'm just pushing my hips back. I'm always trying to keep my hips higher than my knees. It's a good guide for this exercise. So really pushing those hips back, straightening up, squeezing through backside. Just a few more to go. Give it a target very, very soon. 4 more to go. Hips high, chest up, squeezing through backside. 3 more. Squeezing through backside. 2 more. Squeezing through backside. Last one. Hips high. Squeeze through backside. Straighten. Really squeeze and hold. Okay. Good. 2 laps. If you're doing 3, wind this back to the squats. Start of the lap. Winding things down. At this point, you're just going to walk around in this little small area, or you can walk up and down if you need to. Just going to bring things back down. A couple of minutes. And then we'll go into a few stretches. Back, since we've got a sturdy object, maybe we'll use the sturdy object to assist us in the stretches. So, with sturdy object, take a big step back, plant the back heel into the ground, shoulders nice and low, switching over. Up, feet back a little, toes in line, resting on there, keeping the knees stiff. I'm just going to need to walk back a little bit further, pushing the hips right back, pushing the knees back, pushing yourself away. Big stretch through back of upper legs, and a little bit through the back. Really keeping those knees stiff and just pushing the legs back. Okay. So similar to we did in the mobility exercise, but this time we're going to turn it into a stretch. So this can be on the knees if you wish. I'm going to bring one leg up, I'm going to reach round to the side and hold it. So my knees pointing straight ahead, trying to get my heel down on that front leg. Hips are square, stomach tight, and just reaching round to where you can. Pushing the knee into the ground, pushing the hips forwards, breathing nice and deep as we go. Palm upwards. Same on the other side. Big step forwards, knee into the ground, hips push forwards. Thumb up. this position, I'm going to bring one leg in front. See me there. Just going to push the hips back down onto the elbows. Bring the arms out further if you wish. Same on the other side. This leg in front. Also pushing my hips back as far as I can. Sitting back. Nice and deep with the breathing. Okay, then lastly, using the mat, I'm going to bend my knees this way, I'm going to lie nice and straight, my arms are up, one's going that way, one's going this way, and I'm going to look towards the opposite arm, if that makes sense. I'm going to bring both arms out, I'm just going to squeeze my knee the opposite way, resting my head. Same on the other side. So I'm rocking the knees. So I don't know this way. Rocking the knees that way, and then arms the opposite way. As straight as you can on the mat. Quite hard to judge. And then just squeezing the arm the opposite way and looking the opposite way. Nice and deep with the breathing. Squeezing the arms into the ground, especially the right arm in this case. Squeezing the opposite knee into the ground. Okay, slowly, slowly up, back to the top. Good job. Okay, so to request more content, there's a different video I can make with a different exercise, with different exercise equipment. Let me know, pop it in the group, or any questions in the group, and I'll see you on the next video. Well done, see you soon.